Yo, yo, yo. This is the second episode of the Lyrics Podcast. We're still trying to figure out the name. We've been toying with Do You Know the Lyrics? Or Do You Know Lyrics? Something like that.
I'm not good at lyrics.
You're not good at lyrics. That's your
I'm
whole
good at
vibe is
I'm good at,
lyrics.
I'm good at some lyrics, but I know like melodies or something
You're
that's
more of a melody guy
yeah
instead of
yeah more of
lyrics.
yeah
Yeah,
melodies.
well, by the time we drop this, we'll have a podcast name.
Okay, cool.
But right now it's in a flux. So we're just
I'm
gonna start with a heavyweight question. All right,
okay.
heavyweight division.
Heavyweight division.
What's one of the biggest lessons you've learned, or what's one of the biggest lessons that quarantine has gifted you? I'll put it in those terms.
Wow.
It's a big one.
Do we have? Is there a timer or anything?
No, we're just gonna
Um.
have Danny in the back hum the Jeopardy melody.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Um. The biggest. Okay. Repeat it. Repeat the question.
What's the biggest lesson? Well, I won't say biggest, because you could think forever for that. What's one lesson that quarantine has gifted you this
Um.
whole period?
At first, I freaked out because like when people present me with big questions, I'm like I have to give them like the coolest answer.
You do,
Okay.
yeah.
Well. Well, I feel that, but I have the most pure answer because actually I took quarantine very seriously in the sense that I use that time to um rest.
Okay.
I used quarantine to rest. I mean there were a lot of factors even pre quarantine
Uh-huh.
um that put me in that headspace. So I'll give it to you like this. I began to feel a drop in creativity um, after the start of the new year. And I was really trying to push it January, February.
Yeah.
Um, just trying to push stuff out. Shit was trash.
Force it in a way.
I was trying to force it.
Yeah.
And at some point, quarantine gave me, the quarantine just kind of gave a lot of people like, just permission to like, there's nothing going on.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about too much except
Check
for
out in a way.
yeah, you have
Kind
the
of.
you have the chance to check out. A lot of people did that. Some people didn't. A lot of people kept working
Mhm.
because a lot of what you know, it's not just performances and socializing like outdoors for an artist.
Yeah.
So um, a lot of people capitalized on that,
Yeah,
but
some people thrived.
a lot of people thrive. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. There were like live streams and stuff,
Mhm.
and like yeah, people really took advantage of it. But for me, um, I thought, yo, like I just need to put everything on pause, and
Mhm.
I need to, I can't put anything, like I can't, like nothing's coming out. Like
Yeah.
like I was wrung dry for some reason. Probably a multitude of reasons that I can
Uh-huh.
like go into depth in. Um, but no, all I knew was that creatively, mad dry. And so and this was a realization I had maybe like in April.
Mhm.
So we had just gotten into quarantine and we just been chilling, for a little second, thinking that, things will open up, maybe, like
Yeah.
they kept
Yeah.
extending it, you know what I'm saying? They're like, yeah, we're gonna do this for
That was a weird period. It
yeah,
was
it
like
was
maybe by summer is gonna
hell
open up.
no.
We had all
Yeah.
these senses of like
Hmm.
false expectations of what this was.
Yeah. Um, maybe by fall, maybe
Yeah.
by no, hell no, bro. Um, here we are. We're still well, I mean, we're opening back up, but
Yeah.
um anyways, yeah, like just somewhere in there, quarantine had taught me that rest is really important. And sometimes it takes just being absolutely uh, unproductive.
Huh.
Sometimes it takes unproductiveness to be
Mhm.
productive later on. And so here I am, um, more productive than I have been
Mhm.
in the past few years. So,
Oh, okay.
um, I mean, that's it's not showing yet, obviously, because of you know
Yeah.
still some unsuredness of
Yeah. But you got to build the foundation first. No one
right.
sees the
Yeah,
big foundation that holds up the skyscraper. They just see the skyscraper.
yeah,
But it's important that you build up that
yeah. But
strong.
rest, bro.
Yeah.
Rest is big for an artist. Like, I mean, some people can do it. People can just bump shit out. Like,
Yeah.
um, and I think also, what goes into that is a lot of discipline. Like, they know that you put the consistent time in.
Mhm.
You know, you just build it like a muscle.
Yeah.
But for someone who had never, uh, who learned that that's what it takes, but had never implemented it into his schedule, like day to day.
Mhm.
Um, I just became very, very worn out by that. And so like I was just like, fuck this, dude. Like I'm not gonna do anything. I'm not gonna set a time limit either,
Mhm.
you know. It could be 3 months, it could be a whole year. Like I don't know how long. I'm just gonna like chill. But all I know is that I can't I can't produce anything right now. So I'm gonna consume stuff. So I read a shit ton of books, watched a bunch of movies and shows, and
Yeah.
just kind of lived,
Yeah.
just kind of lived for a
Movies and
bit.
shows, that's a big one.
Yeah,
What's some of the
simple living for
what's some
sure.
of those movies and shows that really spoke to you?
Um, I watched some. I watched and read *Handmaid's Tale*.
Oh,
Yeah,
I haven't checked that one out.
that was pretty fun. One of the other ones was, uh, yeah, *Handmaid's Tale*. You should peep that.
Yeah.
The book is cool. Um, there's so many big words in that book, like that I had to like every time I came across one, like every page or every other page, like
You
I
gotta
had
have
to
the
go.
dictionary
Oh,
next to
bro,
you.
yeah, I
Yeah.
was on Google all the time, like just like this word meaning or this word
Yeah.
definition. Um, but then the show is sick because they do a ridiculously good job of like developing. Because the book is really only like the first half of the first season, and then when I
Oh.
watched when I watched *Handmaid's Tale*, I was like, they just went crazy with the story and the backing story, and like that was a cool thing um to experience. But *Handmaid's Tale* was one of them, and then the other one was uh The Book Thief. i
Book
watched
thief.
i watched or I
Oh,
read um The Book Thief. uh that was It's a beautiful story.
is that like that's like Germany banned book type of stuff? Or
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
so it's like about this kid who, dang, I can't even, I'm trying to remember the story right now. But essentially it's set in Nazi Germany,
Mhm.
and yeah, it's just this I think like this Jewish boy,
Mhm.
and I don't know, something about she steals books, or
Yeah.
it's a girl, she steals books be, to read, and she's not allowed to read basically, and like,
Yeah.
but there's like this really dope um narrative character in the book. um I don't know if I should say it because it kind of gives away like the beauty of like what's going on. Um, I'll say it. Spoiler alert in case you go in.
Spoiler for the book thief.
The Book Thief. It's narrated by Death. So
Oh,
Death
that's
is a character.
wild.
Yeah, Death has a voice in the story, and it's like it's really dope, dude.
Damn.
It's really gnarly.
That's crazy those historical stories because they have so much resonance into like today's times.
Yeah.
You'll be thinking like, damn, this was 70, 80, 90 years ago, but we're still learning these lessons as a society,
Mm.
which is a
Mm.
which is a trip. And
Yeah.
that's kind of how our own development is sometimes.
Hmm.
Sometimes we got to relearn lessons. I think quarantine is one of those big things where it forces you to go through these tough times and to grow in a way.
Yeah. I think quarantine really put everybody um in a space where they could face their weakest points.
Yeah.
Um yeah. Yeah. Or if you're like fortunate enough to like have gone through it with somebody,
Mhm.
um it alleviated the pressure because you were able to like you would be able to talk to that person about,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying. But some people went through it on their own, and I was like,
That's tough.
that's tough.
That's tough. But then
Yeah.
again, they also got a different, sense of self in a way, like
Yeah.
you can't help but go through that and come out stronger on the
Yeah.
other side.
Maybe stronger.
Yeah, maybe. Well,
I mean, you pray
the
for
jury's
it.
still, yeah, the
Yeah,
jury's
yeah.
still out. We're still going through it too.
That's facts. Yeah.
Yeah. Was
But
it tough coming to terms with the that you weren't as productive? Were you kind of trying to fight it in a way? Like, man, I need to be productive. Man, I need to keep up. I need to.
yeah, because I was surrounded by I'm surrounded by the scene in Sacramento is real tight,
Yes.
And so like you end up being surrounded by people who are just so dope
Mm-hmm.
and just like working super hard to burst the bubble that is Sacramento,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, that's a
Bursting
good
out of
way to
that
put it.
bubble. Yeah, bursting out of that bubble is like it's really hard to do, and you know, obviously there can be debates on who's done it
Mm-hmm.
recently or whatever, but
Yeah.
um you know, it's still hard to say. But being surrounded by a bunch of people that are trying to do that alongside me
Mm-hmm.
is there's a lot of I don't know, there's just a lot of like ego that kind of has to be put aside to say I need rest. Like I can't keep up
Yeah.
with you guys right now. Like,
Yeah.
you know. Um and that was one of the biggest things, because I was just wanted to be it's not no competition, but it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's a it's not a competition.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it's not a competition. Wink, wink. It's
right,
not.
and and
But it shouldn't be. We're all.
we're all moving together, and that's
Yeah.
dope. But like we also have to push each other.
Mm-hmm.
If there's no competition, then there's no like it's like tectonic plates, you know what I'm saying? Those are that pushing against each other is what
Yeah.
creates mountains. You know what I'm saying? And so
Damn.
like um not that it has to be so drastic and
Yeah.
epic like that, but there just has to be some movement and like pushing each other to move. But for me, um wanting to be somebody who does that,
Mm-hmm.
who's like, you know, just kind of rallying everybody
Yeah.
just by my own work ethic alone,
Mm-hmm.
uh to have to realize that I need to put that aside and chill.
Mm-hmm.
um yeah, it hurt me a little bit for sure. um and so but ultimately, like I said, I was like, I just need to do this.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna keep going later on, it's long game. It's long game. You
Yeah.
got to think about the long game. And so um yeah, I just
Yeah. Just
decided.
keeping that perspective,
Mhm.
and coming to terms with not everybody's journey is your journey,
Nope.
and you have to find your own path that feels comfortable. And you talked a little bit about discipline. What are some things that helped you kind of build those habits of discipline? Because that's something that has really been ruminated in my head, just building those keystone habits, they call them, just those things to keep you on track when the external motivation isn't there. What's some tidbits you found there?
uh it it takes just learning to relearning to love the craft. Like if there's no external
Mm-hmm.
thing to push towards, like a lot of people get caught up just wanting to play shows,
Yeah.
you know? Want to play I
Yeah.
want to play this show. I got to write this song before this show, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like I want to
Almost
drop this song before the
instant
show.
gratification type of thing.
Yeah, and so there's like timeline that goes into that, but uh it's with that going missing last year.
Mm-hmm.
um Discipline was something that had to be seriously considered. um taking from a different energy source, because if that external stuff is not there, like what is it?
Yeah.
And for me it was just realizing that I needed to relearn to love uh the shit that I do, just singing.
Yeah.
And like just the way that I started to love just singing to the walls in my room, and it
Yeah.
wasn't necessarily like my songs, it was other songs.
Mm-hmm.
um
Back to the basics in a way.
back to the basics,
Yeah.
definitely. Which is hard, bro. It's hard to like it's hard to come back to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like you get a taste of the cooler shit, which is performing,
Mm-hmm.
um rehearsing,
Yeah.
commanding your
Curating too, you know.
commanding your band, and yeah,
Yeah.
curating like
Yeah.
different shows too.
Yeah.
Like you get caught up in that, like that stuff that all feels all good and well, but you know living for only that leaves you with just like moving through life and pushing yourself to make sure those things happen, but not not like that pure, I just want to create because I like it,
Yeah.
because this is dope, because I like this sounds good as fuck. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna try and make this sound come out of me. um and I've been I was in maybe like August, September, I was just trickling like back into creating stuff. It's like a dripping faucet, slowly turning up. In like January, maybe I was like, all right, I'm ready to start like
Mm-hmm.
doing some stuff. And then it wasn't until recently um, that I really seriously considered like what it really is gonna take, and it's just like that discipline,
That discipline.
bro. You got to get in there every day just to love it, because you love it,
Yeah.
and because these things need to come out, because if you're not, then they're just sitting stagnant collecting dust. um yeah, so recently in the past, like, I don't know, few weeks, I've been like uncovering a bunch of old shit that I just left on the shelf of my brain, um or left in my
Oh,
notes.
refurbishing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
um Refurbishing, it's like um not even, bro. It's like they're unfinished, It's just like skeleton, maybe in some cases,
Uh-huh.
just skeleton. Um, like maybe the builder just kind of gave up on it. Like that was me, basically. Like for some projects, I was just like, I'll start it, like I'll write like a hook and a verse, and then you know, I'll
And toss
put it
it
to the
away,
side.
yeah.
I'll put it to the side. Maybe I'll come up with something later, but um, not aspiring to like I want to finish it.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see it to its completion, because that thing deserves it. That thing that had come by pure inspiration at the time that I had made it deserves that attention by someone the the attention from the person who had birthed it, like
Yeah.
with the universe or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like it didn't just come out of me. It was like I was just I don't know. I was just the instrument it had come out of.
The
Um,
vessel in a way.
I was just the vessel that it had come out of. Um, but that really it really came from the universe, from God, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Um, and I think it deserves, you were honored to be blessed to, like, you were blessed to be chosen to have pinched out just that little bit of whatever. This is me talking to me, by the way. Like, I mean, maybe people will agree or whatever, but you're honored to like have ha- had that inspiration and put out just that little bit, and then you know you have to continue to carry it forward to its
Yeah.
finish.
No, that's an interesting point of view because, in a way, the art almost doesn't belong to you, even if you create it, because it's the universe, all these forces that inundate you, and then you just kind of spit it out, but it's all kind of just belongs to the universe in a way, and you're the one who, put those pieces together and, molded it a little bit and pushed it out. But then once you push it out, it takes on a different form in each different person,
Hmm.
so that's just the biggest trip about art is the malleability of it.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, I don't know, just some molten metal or something like
Yeah,
that,
it's
and
like
then
an
you get to,
alchemy.
yeah, and you get
Like,
to shape it and you get to create it and piece it together
yeah.
into something that is digestible and tangible.
Were there some going back to those skeletons of music that you put together? Were
Hmm.
there some of them when you went back and you're like, wow, this is almost a different person? This is a different point of view. This person hasn't lived the experiences that this now current Bossy it has. And does that kind of change the the way the song comes together?
um yeah, yeah. um there was one that I picked up recently, and when I had moved back from school, that's when I had decided, like, I'm really gonna like start doing, just start pushing my stuff out there. And I was
Mm-hmm.
doing like these like 1 minute content videos in
Mm-hmm.
collaboration with something that I would see on Instagram.
Yeah.
And like I would write to it, like it was just instrumentals and stuff. And one of the very first ones is this one called Stay Up. Um, and I actually wrote it in thirds, like, yeah, in three different instances. The first time was just like that initial inspiration,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then the second time, maybe like a year and a half later, I had continued to write it, and I think I still had the same voice, and so like making sure that I remembered where I was mentally from like the beginning was
Yeah.
mad important, because you don't want to hear, it might be obvious to somebody listening, like, damn, like this was written in three different, periods and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. But to me, like, I want to know that, but I don't want everybody to know that, So like there
Yeah.
has to be like kind of like this seamless transition, and it all has to kind of fit. And then the last third I wrote just recently, honestly, like, um, I don't know, I just felt like writing it, and
Uh-huh.
it's damn near like a 3.5 year little. It's not even that long, but like
That's
I just,
crazy. All in that one song.
all in that one little thing, and it's really just one long verse, and it's broken down by thirds in my mind because I wrote it at this point, and then at this point, which was just recently.
That's
Um,
wild.
but I can tell, like, the third half, my brain is working differently these days than how it was back then. Um, I think recently I've learned a lot that there needs to be a lot of space and patience.
Yeah.
Being patient is like is dope. Like in music, like people just want to flow and hit, and that's all cool. But like sometimes space is tight as fuck too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you like agree with that or like can tell what I'm like trying to get at, but like
Yeah. Yeah.
ooh, sometimes you just gotta take your time with it, and
Sometimes you gotta take your time.
sometimes like people just be wanting to flow and like da 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 da. Like nah, that's cool. That shit sounds tight as fuck, but I've been like on this like you just gotta let it ride, bro. Like sometimes you just gotta let it breathe.
Just gotta vibe with it.
Yeah, like people are
Sometimes you
afraid
gotta
of
break it
space
down.
sometimes.
Yeah. Speaking of break it down, we got Corey on the sticks. This breaks down into 30 minutes. So when we get to 30 minutes, we're gonna have to stop and then re-record. Just like Basi Vibe broke down his songs, we have to break down our podcast, because
Okay, in
sometimes,
thirds. Okay, big bet.
yep,
Wait,
yep.
why?
I don't know. It's just the app. It's just Anchor.
Oh, okay.
This podcast is sponsored by Anchor,
Anchor.
the greatest podcasting tool that has ever been existed. And we are back with Basi Vibe, which I all these years I've been calling you Bossy Vibe,
Yeah.
and I feel like shit.
Nah, don't feel
It's
like shit.
Bassy Vibe.
It's okay.
It's Bassy Vibe. So we are
Yeah.
back with Bassy Vibe, and
Mm.
we were just about to get into your musical influences, man. What's the music that you were like inundated with as a kid? What'd you hear? What got you into the splendor that is music?
Um, in my early days, I used to live in this big house with like my mom and a few of her siblings and their families.
Uh-huh.
So it was a big fucking house packed into. My mom and I lived in the garage. Like we renovated the garage to be like a room. Um, and whatever we all went to church together, and so I grew up in the Catholic Church,
Mm-hmm.
and um, I think the seeds were planted there of like just music.
Yeah.
Maybe like not the like to want to do music,
Mm-hmm.
but like my mom was in the choir, her siblings were in the choir, um, but my cousins they were part of the youth group, and they sang and played guitar and piano.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I mean, they're my older cousins, kind of like my older brothers, and I was like, I'm gonna copy them. Like I want to do what they do, and
Yeah.
so my cousin like taught me my first song on guitar.
What was it?
Uh, it was Just Friends, my Music Soul Child.
Ah.
Um, all time classic song for me. Um, Still sing it all the time to this day.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, and that was cool. And then I was kind of as I grew up, like in elementary and middle school mostly, and then into high school, I was really influenced by the singer songwriters coming out of the YouTube era. Like, just I don't know if what you would call it. It's kind of like just YouTubers started to come out, and
Yeah.
there were artists that started to looked like me. That so it didn't seem out of reach for me to like want to do this kind of stuff. So like Jeremy Passion, Gabe Bondoc, AJ Raphael, like Jeff Burnett, like all
Huh.
people that I've always looked up to, and they're like these Filipino singer songwriters. They put their stuff up on YouTube, and they created like a whole world of like a whole community in that, and I was very much a fan of all of that. And I would like try to imitate. I would try to imitate what was going on. Um, didn't do that great. Um, just a young Bassy, and I was
Mm-hmm.
just like, just I don't know, just using what I got, and it just did not sound good. It did not. And yeah, and then Um, I was slowly introduced to like some really dope, some really dope artists. John Legend, Alicia Keys,
Oh
Amy
yeah.
Winehouse, uh, and then um, when I in my freshman year of college, I had, or actually senior year of high school, I kind of had like a breakthrough in like just my world was like like completely shattered
Oh, it sounds like a big one.
of of the things that I of what I thought I liked,
Mm-hmm.
which I still like them. But I was like, when this came into my life, I was like, this that shit that I like this shit. This there's I don't know what it is, but this is some shit that is talking to me right now, and it makes every molecule in my body move.
Damn.
Um,
I'm like on the edge of my seat right now for this big reveal. The shit that
and
changed your life.
it was the it was the first appearance of on television for D'Angelo in
Oh,
12 years.
I can see that.
Yeah. He performed on
Yes.
BET after 12 years of being
Yeah, just
off the
away.
radar.
Yeah.
Um, I didn't know what the fuck I was watching. All I
Mm-hmm.
knew was like I was watching this BET Awards program, and they were like, "We got D'Angelo coming back like after 12 years. After 12 years, D'Angelo. After 12 years." Like they kept saying that shit. I was like, "Who the fuck is this?" Like, I need to. I can't miss this. I like just as a person who's just like curious to see who this person is. This fool came out, sang Untitled,
Mm-hmm.
um, and then performed this song called Sugar Daddy, and it was just pure, just energy and electricity. And I was like, what the fuck am I looking at right now? You know? Um, no way to comprehend. All I knew was how it was making me feel. And I was like, I need to like learn more about this person. And so I did my research and I just fell in love with voodoo.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and was at the time, well, realizing that voodoo and brown sugar was really all there was, dude. Like there was no recent album,
No.
and that shit was so sad. But I rocked voodoo hard, bro. I did not care. I was like, this is a masterpiece, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and there's only so many of those, and that is the one that spoke to me the most. And that's the first time my world was shattered.
Yeah.
My world was shattered the following year.
Oh, you just had some earth-shattering years
Yeah, well,
consecutively.
I mean, like growing up in the church, like
Yeah, you don't
I
get
was
you
I
don't
was
get
very
D'Angelo in the church.
no, no, no. And like, I mean, my family like is Filipino. Like, they don't know shit about D'Angelo. You know, like a
No.
lot. It's cool to hear like people talk about like, yeah, like my parents used to listen to the classics. I remember like on weekends they would like put uh fucking Marvin Gaye on the record player, and like we would just
Yeah.
vibe to that all day or some shit like that. Like, nah, like
That's what I was expecting your origins to be. But
nah, man. I had to do some heavy digging and like learning about this stuff that made me feel this way and give it the respect it deserved by going out and reaching for it and grabbing it
yeah.
and analyzing it. So voodoo was one of those things. Um, and but anyways, and then the following year, which is one of my so there's D'Angelo. Following year, 2012, uh, Channel Orange drops.
Oh, Frank.
Yeah. So, uh, that was like another I
Revelation.
think of my inspiration as a vase that, you know, has been has been built, you know, from clay obviously, and like
Hmm.
what do they call it when they like mold the shit on the
Oh
spinning
yeah,
thing?
yeah. I think of the
Uh,
scene from Ghost,
right,
like with
right, yeah, yeah, yeah,
the Unchained Melody,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Um,
whatever it's called, the pottery thing,
yeah, for
spindle.
throwing.
That's what it's called.
I don't know. I'm
Yeah, I
probably
don't
wrong.
know.
Does anybody else know?
Anybody?
Is it
We got the
throwing?
fact checker.
Fact check.
No, the fact check.
He pulled out his phone.
Fact
He's gonna
checker sleep.
take a look. I think it's like throwing pottery.
Yeah, what's it called when you're
Some shit
making
like.
pottery? We'll get that
All right.
answer
Well, maybe
later.
yeah. You know.
Our
Anyways.
fact checker is off a couple of mimosas and some beers, so that keyboard's looking.
Right. Yes,
Throwing.
throwing.
There it is,
I don't know
man.
why.
There it is. Yeah.
Why do they call it that?
I don't know.
They don't be throwing shit.
They don't throw shit, man. That's like the opposite of throwing.
Actually, well, they do. They do be like molding it and like throwing it onto the table or some
Oh,
shit.
okay. Yeah.
I don't know what I'm talking about, but anyways, I think of my inspiration as like this vase that was molded, um, and then once it dried, like or every time it dries, it's like cracked or chipped, and I have to repair it. And those cracks and chips come from like new experiences of like inspiration.
Yeah.
Um, D'Angelo was one of those ones that kind of like a whole hammer and like broke
Fucked it
broke the
up.
whole shit,
Yeah.
and then I had to piece it together with this new big piece of which was D'Angelo, and I had
Mhm.
to fit that onto the vase.
Yeah.
And then yeah, the second one was just a whole ordeal also, and that was Frank Ocean.
Yeah.
I mean, he came out with Nostalgia Ultra,
Mhm.
and that was cool. I didn't get behind it that much. Um, I knew there was something special there though for sure. Uh, but yeah, Channel Orange was just a gnarly experience, just songwriting wise and style wise. And
Yeah.
so like I feel like the big two for me, D'Angelo and Frank Ocean. Um,
That's cool.
and obviously a bunch of other stuff like
Yeah, mixed
but
in.
like D'Angelo and Frank Ocean just like
That's like
swirling
the
above
holy
me.
grail.
Yeah, yeah. Um, there's probably other ones. I mean, like I had different phases in my life that still inspire me. Like I had like my emo phase, screamo phase.
Screamo.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
That's kind of weird, huh?
No, it's not that weird. There's weirder stuff to get into.
Yeah,
Trust me.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, yes. I used to listen to a lot of screamo music. I used to listen to Escape the Fate a lot.
Huh.
Um, they're a dope band. I think what I learned about, even though it's stuff that doesn't really align with how I put out stuff now,
Mm-mm.
I realized that the thing that is cohesive and consistent
Mm-hmm.
is that there's like beautiful melodies and like very very beautiful classic melodies and arrangements of songs,
Uh-huh.
um, and yeah, that that can do a lot to just like a basic ass song if it's arranged well and if it has like, I mean that's what a song is,
Yeah,
obviously,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying. um
Screamo, that's interesting. Did you ever get into Ramstein or Ramstein? They're like a
isn't
German
that a
metal.
German metal
Yeah,
band?
yeah. Du. Du
Dude,
hast.
right, right, yeah, they like just
I
he don't
remember
even be
hearing that.
singing, bro. Oh, actually he does, but it kind of sounds
Yeah.
like I don't know, just super dramatic and epic. Like,
Yeah.
I never got into that. That was some pretty gnarly shit.
Yeah, that's some gnarly shit.
Uh, I guess the main two that I got into was one, Escape the Fate, and Bullet for My Valentine.
Oh.
I really fucked with those two bands a lot. Um,
Bullet for they had the merch game on lock. That's what I don't know any like Bullet for My Valentine songs, but I just remember like elementary school and middle school, like all those shirts. Like They
Yeah.
really did good with their
Yeah,
merch.
they had some. I mean, it was simple. It was just like
Yeah.
literally their album cover, and
Hmm.
it looked really cool, to be honest. Like, and just the name and their font was just perfect.
Yeah.
Bullet for my Valentine. Like,
All right, we take another little commercial break,
sick.
and we are back.
We are back.
Part three with Basi Vibe. Now let's fast forward to the present.
Mm-hmm.
What you got going on right now? What's on your mind? What goals you have? You writing more or putting together your melodies? What's going on with you?
There's a lot actually going on in my mind right now. Yeah, I think right now I'm just in the mode of like laser laser focus on fulfilling goals and destinies and prophecies, however you want to like
Yeah,
call it. I
manifest
I
destiny.
yeah, I call them prophecies because I had prophesied them like when I was younger
Yeah,
or when I had first started like doing music. I was like, I'm going to do this shit. Like I'm going to do stuff and I'm going to love it and I'm going to do things to completion and I'm going to be Pharrell.
yeah,
I'm gonna be Luther Vandross or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna do my shit, do it well, and um, you know,
hey, Danny Q. I was recording. We good.
he on it, baby.
We on it.
How could you doubt him?
No, he
Um,
on.
right. um, but yeah. Uh, anyways, yeah. So I had wanted these things tough, like for a kid who like just in no place would have been wanting to like do this again, like going back to like my upbringing and like just not having that, but
Hmm.
reaching for it, all the way reaching for it and clawing my way towards these things that make me feel good.
Yeah.
Um, somewhere along the way, I mean, you just, and it's just stuff that stems from unhealed traumas or just issues that have never become uh never mended over. And for me, a lot of that was just being distracted and
Hmm.
putting things off, procrastinating. That's a very, you know, it's a lot of people struggle with that stuff. And like, that's how people become stagnant and stuff. So, um, recently, I have been uh, painfully revisiting and evaluating and revisiting what it will take for me to be truly happy. And it's getting laser focused, bro. Like
Hmm.
if I put my head down and get my ass through it, like and do it with the same passion and soul that I have been, but on 1000%. There's no denying how dope that is. You know,
Yeah.
it might not like pop off, might not bring no Grammys or anything like that, it might not bring no label to my door, but like that
Happiness.
shit is happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit is ultimately just liberating. And you know it's hard to say, but like i've i I fell into like a cool like distraction, and like a lot of it was me for sure. Like I allowed myself to be distracted, I allowed
Yeah.
myself to
Yeah.
like to not respect the things that come out of me.
Hmm.
Like, you know what I mean, going back
Yeah.
to like being chosen as an instrument. Like
Hmm.
I chose not to respect that role, um, by not doing it to the best of my ability. Um, and coming into realization of that recently has been very, very big. It's been pretty epic and painful, but I think that's what I believe, that if I put full trust in what's going on, like that's what it takes for me to, you know, reach those things. And so now I'm going full steam ahead, trying to, and I have a release next month, I think.
Ooh,
Um,
release.
I have a release
That's
next month.
exciting.
What is it, April right now?
It's April, yeah.
When does this come out? May?
Man,
Well, shit.
got Corey with the calendar.
Hold on to your right, May. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll be releasing in May, so like, by the time people are listening to this, um, probably end of May. It's like a big project that I've been like really wanting to complete, but there's just
Uh-huh.
like details that just need to be like hashed out. Really,
Yeah, just a fine
really,
tuning of it.
really small. Um, and it's a big one. Like, and I feel like people are gonna be hella surprised. Like, who's he think he is? Like, just coming out with this fat project. You know what I'm
Really?
saying? So it's this
Wow.
single. It's this single called Wallflower. Um, and it's like a soul house joint, which also people will say
Soul
like,
House.
who does this dude think he is coming out with this big project um in this style that no one's ever heard me in,
Mm-hmm.
which is sick. Like I don't care, like I just, it's a good song. Like I'm just
Yeah.
gonna put it out.
I feel like we've heard little from like tidbits and stuff where you're playing around, like,
Hmm.
like a
I have,
little bit of kind of soul house inspired just from your
yeah, I
little
mean,
snippets you post on Instagram and stuff.
yeah, there's definitely uh a vast range of where soul can
Yeah.
like neo soul
Reside.
R&B can
Yeah.
reside, and like one of those things is like in like house music, and
Uh-huh.
that's been a big thing that people have been like fusing just because it's just super tasty.
Yeah.
Ooh, super just
Yeah.
savory. And so I worked on this song 3 years ago. I
Mm-hmm.
started writing this song 3 years ago. It was pretty much written in the session um,
Mm-hmm.
itself, um, but I had sat on it. Don't know why.
Is this the song you
Um,
broke down into three? Is this one?
no, that
Oh.
song honestly is like, it's not even that big of a, I don't intend to be doing very much with that. Like
Oh,
it's just
okay.
literally something that it was kind of just for me to
Yeah.
finish that song.
Oh, okay.
Like it had always been, because it was the first thing that I started releasing on social media.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was the first snippet that I ever put out of like just, I'm out here writing in my studio.
Mm-hmm.
Um and so I think I felt like very driven to finish it one day. I mean, might come out on a B-side record,
Mm-hmm.
like um but this joint Wallflower finished 3 years ago when we had just done the session, um and then let it sit, and then picked it back up when before quarantine last year,
Mm-hmm.
started to like mix it and master it, or just started to mix it actually. um and quarantine happened, took my little hiatus.
Mm-hmm.
I started trickling into creativity, right? We're just wrapping this back around. Started to trickle into my creativity in August, September. I
Mm-hmm.
was like, Wallflower needs to happen. This visual that I have in my head needs to happen. So one of my homies who was at that session, she like has been riding with the idea forever, like with me. And I was like, yo, like we should do this. She was like, we should do this.
Yeah.
Um, and we did it. We storyboarded it. We designed the whole shit. Like I wrote the whole story out and just brought it to the table with um my boy Cedric, who does a lot of video for like Camilla Covington, Iguayaka, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
what's his name, Rex Life Raj
Yeah, yeah.
from the Bay, like just killing videographer and
Is that
director.
Culture Boy Yosh or is that someone else?
No, his Instagram is Lil Shaolin.
Little Shaolin. Okay,
Lil
that's it. Yeah,
Shaolin.
he did He always the Not the Hills video, right?
I was just
Yeah.
listening to that the other day. That shit
Yeah.
is so
That's
fucking
so
smooth.
far.
Um. Anyways, yeah, I brought it to him. I was like, "You want to do stuff?
Yeah.
I have this thing. It's storyboarded. I have all my mood board, like the whole mood board, like collected.
Uh-huh.
Um, never done anything like this on this level before, but like, could you make it come to life?"
Mm-hmm.
He was like, "Let's make it happen."
Ooh.
And so he and his team were part of it. Obviously, my friend who had been there. Shout out to Alana Iv. Um, she kind of handled like all the logistical stuff of coordinating and organizing. Um, and then there was one more piece to it because in the vision, I there's just some I at the time I thought it was out of pocket. I was like, "There's no way we could do this." Like, I'm just Basi Vibe from Sacramento. Like,
Mm-hmm.
there's nobody to do this. Then I met Hayden, and
The man.
and he came out with. I'm still in disbelief that he just started doing it because he liked it. Like he
That's
just thought it
just
was
him.
cool, like CGI and visual effects stuff from scratch. Like he has a job, and I'm sure it burns him out, but like to do that on your spare time just because you love it is like that's such a dope place to
Yeah.
come from.
No, he is killing the game, and it's
And
inspiring.
yeah, and it came full circle for him, like with all the NFTs and like all that shit. Like he was so prepared for it, and like
Yeah.
um anyways, I saw he posted this thing, um and it just lined up with, it was like the universe was like, "Hey, he could do these flower things. Like he does these flower things sometimes."
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and it
He
came my
does.
way, and I was like, "All right, I need to hit him up then, I guess."
Yeah.
Universe, like, thanks for that. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And so I reached out and we linked for coffee, and I was like, "Look, here's the deal. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I don't know if this is possible. I don't know if I'm fucking out of my mind for like wanting this, but this is what I want to do." And he was like, "Okay, let's do it." I was like, "What?
What? You could do all
You
that
could do that
from nothing?
from
You
nothing?"
just
Yeah, I
create
swear
it?
to God. So like it was just a whole thing, and we shot the video in February. Um it was in it is in post, and now it's in the hands of Hayden currently.
Yeah.
So like
If you don't mind, you know what's crazy is that I saw like a couple clips.
you did
Yeah.
from
'Cause
what he posted,
yeah,
or
from what he posted and from like just him personally, because I hang out with him like a lot, and so I went over to his house and he showed me a couple things he was doing. And I was like, God, damn, this video's about to be crazy.
It's
yeah,
fire.
dude. I don't know. I'm just happy to have shot it, put the money into just doing fun shit. Like
Yeah.
this shit was fun. It was cool. I mean, it was stressful, but it was fun as fuck. Like to let this become a thing. Yeah. And so Hayden has like, he's like he's the anchor right now in like, like in races, like
Yeah.
what is it, like the 4x1, 4x4.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
he is the
He's
anchor right
bringing it
now. Like,
home.
yeah,
Yep.
he's bringing it home, dude. And then once he's done, like we throw it into coloring, and like that's pretty much it.
Damn.
And he
That's
only
exciting.
sent me like a still from it, and I was blown away, and I was just happy and content. I was like, wanting to give him a big fat kiss.
Do it.
I don't even know him like that.
No, he'll take a kiss. He'll take a kiss. He'll
Well,
take
he
a
better
kiss.
watch out next time I see him, bro. Like
Yeah. You give him a little butterfly kiss. He likes those too, like with your
the eyes,
the
this shit right
eyelash
here.
kiss. Yeah,
Oh my.
yeah. That's his thing. That's his kink. Yeah.
That's funny. That's how. And that's funny as hell. He's so quiet and chill, bro.
No, no, you're on a yeah. He'll start squirming. You give him those little butterfly kiss.
Oh, it's a wrap. Look, when we when we drop the video, um I think I'm gonna hold a just like a video release joint.
Oh, that'll be
Um,
cool. That'll
and
be cool.
obviously all you motherfuckers are invited.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and probably hold it at Flamingo House. Flamingo
Oh,
House was a big piece of the video because that's where we shot
yeah.
the last scene, and that's where I had envisioned it happening,
Uh huh.
and I'm just blessed to have have connects there and like who were down, and
Yeah.
yeah,
That's awesome. Being able to just can. There's so many creative people that inhabit like such weird niches,
mm-hmm,
and it's really cool when all that comes together.
yeah,
And you can
yeah,
have a little person, just like you're saying, it's a relay. Each person kind of runs their leg of the race, and
yeah,
just puts together a beautiful project.
yeah. And
Yeah.
so here we are, masters are in. Oh my god, I didn't know this was gonna happen, but it ended up happening. But there's also gonna be merch.
Merch. Yeah, I
um
saw that on your story or something. The Basi Vibe shirts. You're like, do we want to
oh,
make
that
more
was
of
something I
those?
released like
Yeah, a while ago.
a while ago, and I
Yeah.
only did like 80 of them.
Yeah.
Well, initially I had done like 40,
Uh-huh.
and then 40 more people wanted them, and so
Yeah.
I pre-ordered those, and I was like, should I bring them back? I'll bring them back at some point, but
Yeah, yeah.
I'll wait until after this release because this release is gonna have merch, it's gonna have a video, and it's just gonna be like a whole thing just because I think it's fun and I think it's dope, and I just want people to see just my brain real quick.
Yeah.
So
That's all.
um
You're really putting stuff together.
yeah,
So we got some
yeah.
big
Wallflower
things
coming
to.
out in May, I think, hopefully.
Oh, well, while we wrap up, anything else you want to shout out? I'm gonna do my best Sean Evans impression from Hot Ones. Where he was like,
Oh
"Cameras
my
there,
god.
cameras there. You got 30 seconds. Tell us what's going on in the world of Basi Vibe."
I feel like you gave me like 25 minutes to do that with Wallflower just now, but
Yeah, yeah.
you know what I'm
We
saying?
kind of did. Anything
Um
else?
Other than Wallflower,
Or just an inspirational quote? Anything? It's the
uh
closer. You come in
oh,
for the closer, that
the
1-2
closer,
punch. You hit him with the
a little sound
one
bite.
punch with the wallflower. Now it's time to knock him out.
Yeah. Um Damn. I don't know if I have a whole haymaker for that, but this quote that I have been feeling, um, which is the quote that you gave me,
Oh, yeah.
um, via DMX. We paraphrased a little bit,
We did paraphrase a
but I
little
like
bit.
the paraphrased
Yeah,
version. And it's your greatest miracle may only be a tragedy away. And
that's some real shit.
yeah, that shit will open you right up and make you think about what the fuck is going on in your life right now and like what needs to happen to keep it pushing. So
Yep.
that's the state that I'm in, and I'm very very grateful for it. Still processing, but like um moving through it, and with that in mind, like it keeps me grounded and tethered to this laser focus that I'm trying to create for myself.
That's
So
awesome.
here we are, baby.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, we're grateful for you and the beautiful art that you gift us with. And I'm grateful for your friendship, man.
oh, thank you,
And
man.
grateful that you
Likewise.
stopped by to chat with us.
Of course, dude. Thank you for having
Yeah,
me. I'm
that
so
was
happy you guys are doing
Basi
this.
Vibe, ladies and gentlemen, for the Lyrics Podcast. We are out.